Alright, today we're talking about the embodiment of spooky season, Jack-o'-lantern, and this guy's a really cool character. I know that there is some discourse about him being on sale for like $500 as a 7-star. Quick disclaimer, don't buy that if you can't afford to buy it. Like, that is obviously a massive ask for a single 7-star character. So just think before you spend, and I'm gonna talk about this champion today, but I'm not going to try to sell you on this champion today. I am just simply going over what I have tested with Jack-o'-lantern. So here I have the pros, cons, and the extra for Jack-o'-lantern, and let's just jump right into it. So the pros for this character: he is a very, very solid DPS. Like, he is DOT based, and once he gets his DOT going, especially on the SP2, he is a really good damage dealer. And yeah, that's pretty much like simple as that. He is just a good damage dealer when he does work, when he does have access to that incinerate or that plasma or the poison as well. He is also a hard counter to Onslaught. He was designed to be the hard counter to Onslaught, and he does that very well. He is a very good Onslaught counter, and he can take him in like a plethora of different ways. So yeah, he was focused on countering Onslaught, and they hit that target 1000%. He is also incredibly easy to play. This is one of the easiest champions to play this year. I think his ease of use is easily at like one of the top tiers. Very easy champion, very good damage. Honestly, just a very nice combo and something that isn't really common this year, I feel like. But for the cons, his utility is focused around countering Onslaught. So the rest of his kit doesn't really extend beyond that, and he struggles to be a overall utility character, I feel like. Outside of countering Onslaught, he really does not do much besides some really niche things, and I guess like one general thing with the Incinerate immunity. Additionally, he is struggling against some top tier mutant characters like Domino, kind of, Bishop for sure, and Havoc for sure, and like those three are some of the most common placements on Battlegrounds defense, I feel like, and the fact that he isn't really like good for them per se does have me a bit worried of this character's relevance in Battlegrounds. But then again, on the other side, he is the hard counter to the most placed mutant character, which is Onslaught, so I feel like they kind of like balance out, to be fair. And last but not least, he struggles to extend beyond mutant matchups. Like, he really isn't made for anything that like is outside of the mutant class. Like, I really struggle to find some good matchups for him, like one-on-one, for like any other class, to be honest, because he is just so focused on countering Onslaught and like some other surrounding mutants that they kind of just forgot to make him good for other classes. But yeah, for some extra like tips here, he is Incinerate immune, he has access to energy res, and he also has access to cowardice for like countering Kitty Pryde, for example, and just countering mutants in general with that. So like, that's pretty good stuff. He also counters Onslaught by having regen from energy DOT. He has ability accuracy reduction to DOT effects whenever he is blocking, so like, you know, that Onslaught SP1 he counters perfectly. And he also is immune to reverse controls. He additionally can parry non-contact hits, so yeah, Onslaught is just made a joke by this champion. And now for my grades. I give his damage output an easy S tier, and this is from a scale of F to SS. So yeah, he is like right on the cusp of just being a top tier damage dealer, since he has such fast access to really strong damage. My utility grade is a B, because while he does counter Onslaught very well, and that gives him a lot of points, and he counters like surrounding mutants too, besides that, he really struggles to have any decent utility for like any other class, and even some mutant matchups like Bishop and Domino, and also Havoc. So yeah, he gets a bit of a lower grade for the utility, even though he is really good at countering a meta champion. And for ease of use, it is an easy S tier. This man is very simple to play. Just pop your SP1, pop your SP2, drop a few heavy attacks, and watch them melt as his DOT is just absurd. It is so good, and his animations are also top tier. So yeah, this character is really cool. I love Jack-o'-lantern. I'm gonna be honest, he is a really awesome character. So yeah, I might get him. I'm not too sure yet. I don't know if he's worth like, okay, nothing's worth 500 bucks, right? But he's at least a pretty fun addition for future Titan crystals. But now for the gameplay. So we're going to start off by doing a quick Battlegrounds health pool test. This is like, what, 260,000 health? And the rotation is usually popping the SP1 into the SP2, but his damage output in these health pools is so good that you can just literally skip the skip the SP1 if you want. That is crazy stuff, right? But now he's gonna drop the SP2. We just get the dex. Now we go back in, and now we go for the intercept to pause our inflamed passives. And once we do that, we can pop the SP2. And look at this DOT damage. It is just really, really good stuff. And yeah, he is melted. That is just game over. That was like, what, 28 seconds. Pretty sweet stuff. And now we have a little showcase of some utility that he has. For example, he doesn't crit. I forgot to mention that in the beginning. I feel like such a muppet now. But yeah, he doesn't crit. So he can bypass nodes like Safeguard and champions like Mr. Sinister. So another note here, how you want to play him is you want to like build up your inflamed passives, and you do that by critting pretty much. And once you have them built up, you want to go for some intercepts to pause them. And additionally, once you get to a bar of power, you want to drop a heavy attack into the SP1 to gain some precision and gain some extra inflamed passives. And these inflamed passives increase your damaging debuff potency indirectly because it increases your crit damage rating. And like all of his debuffs are based off of crit damage rating. So once you get your inflamed passives up, you want to drop the SP2, do a ton of damage, and then that's just game over. So yeah, it's a very, very fun time with this character, and it's not even that hard to play him, right? It is simply build up your inflamed passives by hitting the opponent, go for the SP1 to build some extra ones, drop the SP2 after that, and then you win. Like, simple as that. It's really, really straightforward, and I just love champions that are straightforward like this, right? And it has me thinking that, like, you know, being tailor-made to counter a specific defender that a lot of people struggle with and being really easy to play, it has me like believing that he is meant for, like, I don't want to say progressing players, but like players that obviously like are struggling with Onslaught and like just want an easy champion to counter him with. Cause yeah, he is an easy counter to him, and he can counter surrounding mutants like Dust, Mr. Sinister, don't really know who else like that's important anyway, but I think Dust and Mr. Sinister are huge problems in top tier Battlegrounds, so having a counter to those guys is really, really sweet. So like he does have uses in the top tier Battlegrounds for sure. Like he is not just for like progressing players, he is for essentially everyone. And yeah, that SP2 is just disgusting, man. It is such good damage. Now we have some boss action here. We have this Kitty Pryde boss, and Jack-o'-lantern here actually has a direct counter to Kitty Pryde because he has access to Cowardice. So yeah, Cowardice just straight up shuts off Kitty Pryde, and it makes this fight an absolute joke. So yeah, they would go for the light ending combo to inflict the Cowardice, and after that, it is just time to, what do? We just got to build up to the SP1, drop the SP2, game over. And yeah, we're going to do that right here. We're going to go for a parry in just a second, into the heavy attack, into the SP1, get some beautiful crits going. And yeah, so far so good here. We drop the heavy attack again just for fun. What an interesting animation. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a heavy attack have like that much, not like a reach, but that much height, if that makes sense. He like jumps up there during that heavy attack. It's honestly really impressive. But yeah, there we go for the intercept. We drop the SP2 in a second here after the relic, and yeah, this should be game over. So look at this damage output. A bit crazy, a bit nasty. Like that is like, that's insane. Like that's just so dang good. And one more crit does the job. And yeah, that was under a minute for a boss fight. Like I said, his damage output is insane. It is just crazy how good his DPS is. But now we have this Mr. Sinister boss fight. A lot of health on this character, obviously, on Mr. Sinister that is. So let's see how fast he takes down a boss Mr. Sinister. And like Mr. Sinister is making waves in the contest because he is now a 7-star champion, and fighting him is the worst. So yeah, that can be kind of annoying, right? Like dealing with a 7-star Mr. Sinister. So you want to have a counter to him, and yeah, Jack-o'-lantern is one of the best counters to Mr. Sinister now. And on top of that, he counters Onslaught, so it's like, okay, that's 2 birds with 1 stone. So yeah, it's pretty sweet. Here we go for another combo into the SP2 in a second here. If he wants to let me intercept, man, dang, like, there we go, finally. So here we drop the relic, and now it's showtime. Look at this damage output. What a thing of beauty, man. It, like, the satisfaction of dropping the SP2 is amazing, but the best part is, once you drop the SP2, he doesn't consume anything. You just go back to another one, and then you just have this infinite damage loop of just like crazy strong SP2s, and like that's just how Jack-o'-lantern is. And you know, some champions sacrifice everything on that SP2. For example, the character this month, Scream, she does exactly that, right? But Jack-o'-lantern, he keeps the momentum going, and I love characters like that because they don't really have a ceiling. They just have good damage output all the time, essentially. And Jack-o'-lantern's, like, his ramp up is literally 1 SP1, and then you just have your inflamed passives up, just intercept to pause them, and then you are chilling. Simple as that. It's sweet, man. And that's like, that goes back to me saying that he is an easy champion to play, because he is very easy to play once you, like, not even like have to memorize anything. It's just simply hitting the opponent, and then they eventually go down. So here Electra drops the SP1. This node has Incinerate vulnerability, so once we have the Incinerate on her, we just do crazy amounts of damage, and like the Incinerate crits are nasty in this fight. So yeah, like the crits here are doing crazy numbers, like that is absurd. So here we go back in. Intercept did not work because she did not want to play ball, but then we intercept right here into the relic, and then we should be good. I don't know why I didn't drop the relic there. I should have dropped it there, but it's okay, because here we go for the intercept again, drop the SP2, and look at this damage. Disgusting, like absolutely disgusting, man. That is crazy. And yeah, that was like a minute boss fight yet again. Now we have this Domino boss fight, and this one is interesting. So I said before that he isn't the best Domino counter out there because he can fail all of his stuff very easily, right? Unless he has up to, I believe, 7 or 8 inflamed passives. Here's the tricky part. To get there, you have to get the inflamed passives, right? But the inflamed passives can fail. So that probably is a designer flaw. I don't know. I don't want to be mean or anything, right? But that doesn't really feel right to have like the passives fail if they're meant to counter the ability. Like, they're meant to counter critical failure, but they can be critical failure themselves. So it's like, that doesn't sound right. It might be a bug. I hope it's a bug, because that is not good if, like, you know, that stays, in my opinion at least. Maybe like a small rebalance of this character would be making that like immune to ability accuracy modification. That'd be pretty sweet, but this character obviously needs no rebalance anyway. Like, he is really powerful as a DPS, so yeah, he's a pretty solid addition to the game. Here we go for the relic into the SP2, and look at this damage output. Look at those incinerates and those not the incinerates, the plasmas and the poisons go. I forgot that versus mutant characters, he is a plasma DPS, which is nice to have, except for against Bishop and Havoc, but that's okay. Those are 2 defenders out of like many. But as you can see, once we get going, like, we don't get critical failure that much, and like the energy res from the what are they? The inflamed passives carry us big time. And yeah, this matchup is over. So that was like, what, a minute and 33 seconds. And for an Act 8 boss, that is really good. Now for the finale here, I have some duels against Onslaught because he was designed to counter Onslaught, so I gotta showcase that. But yeah, here's one way to fight Onslaught with Jack-o'-lantern. As you can see, we have our inflamed passives up, and what those do is they reduce the ability accuracy of his Neuroshock DOTs by like 100%. So once he is built up, they will hardly ever trigger. So yeah, he is really good for just blocking those SP1s and taking almost no damage from it. So like right here, check it out. He's gonna drop the SP1 and we get like almost no Neuroshocks on us, and we just regen from the from like, what is it, the magnetism thing. And there you go, like perfect counter to Onslaught. Here's another way to do this fight. You can just go for some combos into the SP1 in a second. I'm going to drop it like right now, I think. Yeah, go for a combo into the SP1. And yeah, look at this. We can just dex the SP2 now because we are immune to reverse controls. So yeah, simple as that. Straightforward, easy counter, like no damage taken. Just like that. Easy, hard counter to Onslaught. Now for the final option, you can just go like I don't want to even have to do anything special. Just let me parry, do a 5 combo, that's it. And yeah, you can just do that. Like, you can parry him freely because he can parry non-contact hits. Like, he is he counters him in like multiple ways. I have 3 different ways of taking down Onslaught in this fight. Here I just blocked the SP2 because why not? We take like almost no damage from it anyway. And yeah, go for another parry because why not? Drop the SP1 in a second. That's it. Like, hard counter to Onslaught. Hard counter, best counter to be honest. Like, he is really, really good for him. And yeah. So Jack-o'-lantern, I really do enjoy. I think that he is a very fun champion overall. Incredible DPS, and while he isn't like the most like versatile character, he does what he was meant to do very, very well, and he extends beyond that. So yeah, he is honestly pretty sweet. I think he's a fun mutant like destroyer, but not for some mutants. It's kind of like 50-50. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on Jack-o'-lantern, and yeah, that's about it for me.